Okay, back again. Ozonics, Killerwinds podcast. I'm Cole Tanner.
I'm Nick Simon.
If you're listening to this, you are really missing out. Because Nick got a haircut. We have had a bet going for a while now. I don't even know how this bet came up. I think we were driving to the Elmo Meat Locker, and we got to talking about shooting turkeys and this and that, and turkey season, spring, and all this and that. Somehow, I got you roped into you have to grow a mullet. And the only way you can trim the mullet away from a mullet is if you shoot a turkey with your bow.
Yep.
Now, granted, you've never, shot a turkey.
I've never even bought a turkey tag.
Let alone a turkey with a gun, and you're just going straight into the deep water, and you're going to shoot one with a bow.
Hey, that's how I roll.
So the other part of the stipulation...
I like to skip some steps.
Yeah. Other part of the deal is that I would pay to get it cut into a mullet. Mm-hmm. So you had been growing your hair out for quite a while. I mean, it had been... This is since the fall. It was probably like November, December, January... February.
Definitely the longest my hair's ever been.
Yeah, it was super long in the front, and do a little waggle. That looks amazing.
I gotta stop doing that. Every time I do that, I get a little dizzy.
You get a little lightheaded, huh? Yeah. So you've got quite the mullet. So we got her cut down.
Yep.
Took you to a professional barber, and he gave you a fade on the side.
Yeah.
You know. Business on the front, party in the back. It is looking pretty ridiculous. Your folks haven't seen it yet.
They're going to this weekend.
Yep.
I'm curious to see how that goes.
You sported it at the Iowa Deer Classic.
Mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Hat's going back on.
But I think it's awesome. I think it looks great with a hat. Well, even when you got it done, the barber said that he had done like 5 mullets in the last couple of days before that. Mullets are back in, man. Tatum's taking the kids over to get their hair cut today, and I tried to talk her into getting Rush get a mullet, but she said,
God, it'd be so awesome.
No way.
I told her the same exact thing, actually.
She said, no way.
Oh, man, it'd be so funny.
Yeah, but she said, no way.
Rush has the personality for a mullet, too.
Yeah. I've been called a macho man lately. That's his new nickname.
He just runs around like he owns the place.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Walks around, yells at everybody, smacks everybody. Better watch out. If you're in the room with him and he's not happy, he's going to smack you.
What is he?
Almost two.
Almost two.
April 19th.
Just a little chopper yet.
Yep. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit under the weather. I've been fighting a cold. It's funny, this time of year when we're doing the consumer shows, it's always a little tricky.
Yeah.
And I got over the Harrisburg flu, it felt like. For the next week, I was kind of sick. And then right when we were about ready to go to Iowa, or just at Iowa especially, and then coming back, I started to get this real sniffly nose, and I don't know what it is. So I kind of sound a little lower than normal.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, think about all the people that you talk to and shook hands. And
you could take vitamin C, and I was taking that airborne stuff. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, so like I said, we just got back from the Iowa Deer Classic. It was a great show. Yeah. You know, the Iowa Deer Classic is always something really awesome to see. Mm-hmm. It's nice because our offices are in North Central Iowa, so the Iowa Deer Classic kind of feels like
home show,
home show or whatever you want to call it. And it's nice to you kind of start to see the same people year after year when it comes to vendors. Yep. We actually got to spend some time and hang out with the guys from Trophy Rock, which is pretty cool.
Yep, really good guys.
Yeah, got to go out to eat with them. That was really, really fun. Mm-hmm. Got to meet a guy named Kyle from there, super good dude. A guy named Drake and Sky. Yeah. It's fun hanging out with those guys. Yep. And I actually, like you said, just run into a bunch of good friends that you see. People actually from my hometown, which is really fun.
I even had people from my hometown there.
Yeah. We ran into a guy from Maryland. Yeah. Remember that guy on Friday? Yeah. He came all the way from Maryland. Which is just wild.
Yeah, it was funny. It was cool to see everybody, and especially for me, just being with Midwest Whitetail, it's fun to see all those guys again too. So that's always awesome. Yep. So,
and I think the cool thing too, the one thing that I always look forward to every year, and it's a kind of a way to kind of see the measuring stick on how things are going, is the big buck contest that they have. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. So basically, they've got kind of 4 walls of bucks.
Mm-hmm.
The outside wall, and when you kind of walk in, is historical deer, where people can bring deer from any time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see people stand there talking about maybe it was their grandpa's buck that maybe passed away, or an uncle or somebody, a family member, or just a deer that a lot of times people will bring those historical deer in because they'll get them scored.
Right.
They have a Pope and Young scores right there. They'll score them up, gross net, and then they put them up on the wall.
Yeah.
And then right there in the middle, it's a lot of everything from 2020, the fall of 2023.
Yep.
So, and then they have it all broken down into archery, muzz, shotgun,
right. Yeah.
men, women,
youth.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then on the other wall, they've got, first, second, third place for each category.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really something to see. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I was really interested too to see what it was going to be like with the shed contest.
Yeah.
Just because I think one of the resounding themes that we heard over the weekend from a lot of people, some guys are finding sheds, but you hear a lot of people talking about they've got cameras out yet, bucks holding both sides, which is just crazy.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense because we just haven't had the winter where, nutritionally where their bodies are kind of going into survival mode.
Yeah.
Haven't had that.
Yep.
I think the other interesting thing that I've heard from a few people, and I think you heard that from your buddies that you were talking to, and just guys that walked up, friends of mine, said the same thing. They're like, yeah, man, we're not finding them where we normally find them. They're not wintering where they normally do. It's just a kind of a different year.
Yeah.
They're not on those south-facing slopes that are getting the sun earlier in the day. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to hear that. And I mean, gosh, we're getting into first, second week in March, and bucks still holding both sides is pretty wild. I mean, you would think at some point they're going to pop off because there's the new ones growing in.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about.
Yep.
Usually you think about a buck kind of gets to run around a little undetected for a bit.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Yep.
But still, with that said, there was still a pretty good shed contest.
Yeah, there were some giants up there.
And some matching sets that were just crazy.
Yep.
And some awesome single sides too.
Yeah.
And then they have that huge big shed display, all these originals, which is pretty neat to see.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, it was a great show. I always love going to the Iowa Deer Classic, and it's great to get a chance to talk to some awesome people. I mean, heck, we ran into that one guy. I talked to him last year, and he didn't really want to be on camera last year. And then we got him on camera this year talking about, what did he say? $13 over 170?
Yeah, $13 over 170.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
Yep. And he came up last year and was gushing about it. And there was a buck that he passed last year that I thought was in the 170s. I think he shot it this year, and it was like quite a bit bigger than that. I don't remember what he said the number was.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
But yeah, just stupid big.
Yeah.
Hunt Southeast Iowa. And that was really neat. It was cool to have him walk up and talk again. And yeah, he was like, let's get some guys in here. I want to, I'm
ready to sell some of these.
Yeah, let's sell some of these things. Come on, man, get somebody in here. And so that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I said, I think what we're going to talk about mostly today was kind of spurred on via the Iowa Deer Classic.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that's really cool, that's always fun about that show is, the camaraderie of being there, and it's a real chance that you get to kind of connect again after the season. And that's kind of the conversation that you're having over and over is, man, how'd your year go?
Yeah, exactly.
How'd your season go? How's it going? It's just connecting back up with old buddies and stuff that you maybe haven't seen for a bit. And I think it kind of spurred on us thinking about kind of the way it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not having this conversation to try to, talking bad about the way it is now.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is now.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting, I feel like, how much it's changed from then to now. And we're really what we're getting at is it kind of is funny because it kind of came on because of some of the guys that I saw there.
Right.
I have some friends that are from the town of Belmont that I grew up with. Kevin Smith is a dad, and then Kyle and Cody are the sons. It was funny because when I was in my early 20s, I was bound and determined to do. I was starting to, and I was obsessed at that point about North American big game animals.
Yeah.
I was just freaking out about everything North American big game animals. And I was looking at all these things, and I'm trying to figure out, how can I go do something,
Yeah.
And so I decided I was going to go black bear hunting. So my brother-in-law, his dad had gone black bear hunting in Northwest Ontario, which from Iowa is basically just go up into Minnesota and that's Northwest Ontario.
Yeah.
But he had gone up there black bear hunting with a place called Border Country Outfitters. Okay. And it was not that far into Ontario, probably like an hour.
Yeah.
And so I called and talked to him. And at that time I was just shooting a recurve bow,
Mm-hmm.
So I I booked the hunt. It was $1,750. That's how much black bear hunt cost. And I couldn't find anybody to go with me. I asked all my buddies. Nobody wanted to really do it, or they didn't want to pay the money.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm doing this. Like, I'm going black bear hunting.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't 100% have it all figured out, right? At the time, I was just driving a, Nissan Maxima or something. I had just like a car. And so my mom ended up letting me borrow her Chrysler brown minivan. I took out the seats. Well, then I'm thinking, okay, well, if I get lucky enough to shoot a black bear, what am I going to put all the meat in and the hide and everything else? So somehow I got connected with Kevin Smith. Well, Kevin had known me growing up, but we didn't really hang out or anything.
Right.
But I'd heard through the grapevine, he had these big white coolers, like Coleman coolers.
Yeah.
Right. And he let me borrow those coolers. I remember driving out to his house and explained to him what I was doing. And he's like, oh, heck yeah. And he was all excited about it.
Yeah.
And I borrowed these coolers. So here I am with all my gear and my recurve bow and these two big white coolers and my mom's van. And I drive up the interstate. I had to get a passport. I didn't have a passport. I was in my early 20s. So I get a passport. I go up there and I go black bear hunting for, 5-6 days. And I shot a black bear on the last day within 5-10 minutes of dark. I mean, it was like, this is it.
Last minute.
Yeah, last minute. Had this dry sow come in, just a big, ended up being 375 pounds. So for a sow, it's a pretty big sow.
Yeah.
This dry sow comes in, which means it didn't have any cubs with it. And sits down on the bait, sits there for a while, stands up, turns. I pull back my bow, make a great shot right behind the shoulder, runs off, dies. And, the outfitter actually let me stay for one extra day because with my recurve, I was, at that time especially, I was like a 10, 15 yards, 20 yards and under. I mean, 20 yards was like a stretch. Mm-hmm. And so I knew I had to get something close and I knew I needed a really high percentage shot. Well, I had a couple other encounters with bears, but it just didn't work out. I hadn't shot at anything and I was just really trying to be super selective on the shot. And I didn't really want to shoot like an itty bitty small bear either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they let me actually stay an extra day and then I shot that bear. But it was just cool because I remember, we actually got the meat processed in town and we went and picked it up, put it all in the coolers. And I remember driving back and then going out to Kevin's place and giving him some bear meat and just how excited he was for me, you know? And it was just kind of crazy because all those things, there was a lot of people that had to kind of help me out.
Yeah, exactly.
To kind of make that work for me.
Yeah, a lot of pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah, yeah. And, I don't know. I feel like what I'm trying to get at with that story is that, we saw Kevin and Kyle and Cody at the Iowa Deer Classic, and they walk up and they're super excited to just see how things are going and talk about the fall. And I feel like they're as excited as I am just to hear how their year went as my year went.
Exactly.
Yep. And I feel like sometimes I feel like this whole sport of hunting and bow hunting becomes such an individual type deal.
Yeah.
And I fall into that trap too.
Right.
I was joking with you before we did this podcast. I have the tendency to just kind of fly pretty solo.
Yeah.
This last year was a huge adjustment for me because you and I hunted a lot together.
Yeah.
And I think at first it was almost like a little bit annoying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
It was just like, it was a huge adjustment.
Yeah.
But now it's funny because now I really enjoy it. I really like it. It's
Right.
fun getting to try to get it on video and again, what I really like about it is the camaraderie. I really enjoy making that memory.
Yeah.
I enjoy sharing it on this type of a platform and then having Jet and Bo and the kids see it.
Yeah,
Having my
exactly.
family see it, having friends and family see it is really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so, it really kind of spurred that thought, after that and getting to see those guys about just really getting back to that camaraderie.
Right.
It is obviously an individual sport. A lot of times we're out there by ourselves.
Yeah.
But it's funny when you think back in the day of how it used to be, like my wife's grandpa, he's passed away, his name was Dean. he hunted, and we would always chit chat about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what he wanted to talk about within the conversation was completely different than what I probably would have talked about.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted to just talk about, you know, was I seeing anything, how many I had gotten, where for me it was more about the maturity of the animal and things like that. He didn't care about that. And he had all these pictures of when he used to hunt. Every picture was a group of buddies.
Yeah.
It was standing by a truck with a bunch of pheasants sitting down, or there was a meat pole with a bunch of deer hanging off of it. And it was always 3 or 4 people there.
Right.
Felt like back in the day, they hunted, you know, a lot of it was subsistence, right? Like you were hunting because you wanted the deer meat. You were hunting squirrels or rabbits or pheasants because you wanted the meat. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it too was just the camaraderie of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah.
And so yeah, like I said, I think. Sorry, like I said, my voice is kind of shot today.
Oh, you're good.
But I think the idea is, I just hope that if you're listening to this, and I say this to myself too, that, you know, that when I have the opportunity to try to pay it forward like Kevin did for me, I hope I do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that you never know when you might be an example for somebody.
Right.
I mean, just the other day, this is kind of a side story. Of all things, you know, I have a dog, right? Or I had a dog.
Mm-hmm.
We had a dog named Gus.
Yep.
Gus was a golden retriever. We got it from my brother-in-law and my sister. And Gus got sick, and he wasn't eating for like a week, and took him to the vet and this and that. And then he started eating again fine. He was drinking fine. And then last week, he just kind of stopped eating again.
Yep.
And he was kind of acting a little funny, but like we had him here at the office on like last Tuesday.
Yep.
And then Wednesday, he kind of acted a little bit funky again, but like I was like, okay, he was drinking some water. And then we left Thursday to come down to the Outdoor Classic. And Bo went downstairs to check on Gus, and he was dead in his kennel.
Yeah.
And so it's like, geez. So then that was a tailspin of a day, right?
Yeah,
like all of a sudden,
exactly.
like we're trying to get down to Des Moines, and we're trying to do all this stuff, and we got to set up, and we got to go get product, and it's like this whole big thing. So I'm like, okay, what do we do? What do we do?
Yeah.
Well, we ended up at Justin's house,
Yep.
my brother-in-law and sister, and we buried Gus there.
Yeah.
And that was a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't cry like ever. Like if Tatum was listening to this, she would tell you, not a crier.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember. And you got to see me cry, full on cry, more than a cry. I was like sobbing. It really tore me up. At first I was kind of in shock.
Yeah.
We were actually at Quick Star.
Yeah.
And my phone rang, and right when I saw Tatum, I'm like, gosh, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Hello, right away, Gus is dead. And it's like, ugh. But the whole point of to tell all that is just to give context. We end up at Justin's place.
Yeah.
And he's got a shop there, and he's been real fortunate, and he is a great shot. I mean, he could shoot a recurve bow, I'm telling you, and a muzzleloader. Jeez. He's just, some people are just naturally gifted at that type of thing.
Exactly.
That's Justin.
Yeah.
When it comes to the moment of truth and it comes to killing stuff, you can count on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got all these Euro mounts there.
Yeah.
They're just collecting dust, and
Yeah.
he wouldn't show anybody unless you like broke in there.
Yeah.
But we get to talking about it, and we got to talking about just hunting. And he told a story about his dad.
Yeah.
His dad hunted down in like kind of central Iowa. He shot a great buck, and then he had all these doe tags. So he's like, oh, I'm going to go, during the January antlerless, and I'm going to go try to shoot some doe. So he goes down there. Well, he runs into this, his dad runs into another guy in the parking lot.
Yeah.
And they kind of get to talking. And I think the way Justin kind of made it sound, like most of us, it's kind of like you kind of feel almost like a little bit threatened. It's like, well, where are you going to be? Where am I going to be? Type thing. And one thing led to another. And Justin's dad's like, you want to hunt together?
Yeah.
Sure. It was a cold day. It sounded like. So they ended up walking in there together, and they both ended up shooting deer.
Yeah.
And then help each other get them out of there. And I feel like you just don't hear that as much anymore.
No.
You don't hear that at all.
Yeah.
You don't hear that at all.
Yeah.
Even for you and I, the couple times when if you weren't filming like we went, it was even weird for me to just be like, okay, you're going to go over here and I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
I just don't do that anymore.
No. Yeah.
And so I don't know if you have the opportunity to do something like that. Like, I think that's important too.
Yeah.
because again, you just see so much of it is just so much based on the individual, you know?
And I think I really started learning that about hunting once I started filming, because 95% of the time when you're filming, you're not doing the shooting.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of there for the experience, and you're there to be part of it with your buddy, with coworker, whatever.
Yep.
But it makes you realize that hunting is not all about who's wrapping the tag around something.
Right.
It's about the story, all the work that you guys both did to do it. And
Yep.
That's something that I've really started to enjoy about the filming, is like still being part of a big moment, but a big moment for somebody else. It's
Right.
just, it's cool to capture it. It's cool to be there with them. I really get that with, filming my cousins and stuff like that.
Yep. Some
of my best memories have been hanging out with them and, filming them shoot deer and telling all the stories about that.
Well, that's how I feel like what my measure of success for this spring is going to be.
Yeah.
I've said that to you before. Like, my goals are get Bo a turkey, get Jet a turkey, and get you a turkey.
Yeah.
And it would be great too to get Justin's boys are going to be there.
Exactly.
If we could get Bo and Wyatt, or Bo and Jet, or Jet and Marshall, or
Yeah.
But those are really my three big ones: is Bo, Jet, you.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be all of us together.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, I think, a huge part of it. And we talk about the camaraderie. I feel that now, like when I go to Alaska, I feel that when I used to guide in Colorado, that idea of everybody's there together,
Yeah.
and you're working with whoever that hunter might be. And it kind of feels like hunting by default,
Yeah. No,
just
100%
like filming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, without a doubt.
There's a lot of things that I've had an opportunity to do as a videographer that I may never have the opportunity to do by myself.
Yeah.
But I feel like I still did it.
Yeah.
Because I was right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But
and I think a lot of that comes from being at Midwest Whitetail too, because you end up living with people that you've never met before.
Yeah.
And you learn pretty quick, hey, this is a major team effort. Like, we all need to figure out how to work together to, make the best end product. And so that's something that, when somebody would kill a deer or whatever, a big group of guys would go out to take pictures, film the recovery, yada, yada, yada. And that was one thing that I always tried to do. I think I was 100% on it, was getting a group picture of everybody who was there for the recovery, because we were all there. We all helped. We all worked our tails off in some form or another, to make that happen. And so, and then now looking back at it, those group pictures are probably some of my favorite pictures I got from that entire stint that I had at Midwest Whitetail. They mean a lot, because it was such a team effort, and it was a huge family aspect. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
I feel that same way about, we were just talking about that before the podcast. If you go in my office right now, there's a picture of my buddy Jim and I.
Mm-hmm.
We were moose hunting. There's no moose in the picture.
Yeah.
It's him and I standing on a float of a beaver plane.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then I think about the picture of, Jet and Wyatt, me, and my brother-in-law Justin, all sitting behind these two toms.
Yep.
The picture of you, me, and Jet youth hunting.
Yeah, exactly.
Those types of things. Those are the things that's what it's really about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's I go to my Uncle Zip's house, and he's got a little office there. You've been there. It's just loaded with pictures and head mounts and stuff like that. And a lot of times I end up just looking at the pictures over the head mounts.
Yeah.
It sometimes feels like those pictures tell more of a story. And there's some really cool pictures of, when Zip and my uncles and my dad were a lot younger, running around, doing deer drives and stuff like that. There's a ton of really cool pictures of, like you said earlier, standing around a truck bed with a big buck in the back. And it's those are the kind of things that you see, and it makes you kind of appreciate what hunting is really about.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that. We were kind of having this conversation at the Iowa Deer Classic. That's one thing I loved about that Owen.
Yeah.
And that monster that he shot.
Yep.
It felt like obviously they played out the hunt, and that was awesome to watch. But I got a lot of enjoyment when they did the recovery, and they had everybody there.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could tell that Owen was like, I don't want to do this until we're all here.
Yep.
And that's pretty cool. Like you said, we kind of live in this day and age where when you see the hero shot and you see the trophy picture, it's just the one person that was that harvested it.
Yep.
But a lot of times it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, a funny story about Owen again, too, is when I was intern for Middle Whitetail, I did a lot of work with Owen. I produced his daily blog, so we were talking back and forth almost daily. And he shot this Wolverine buck, which he had been chasing for years. I mean, it was like a 8-year-old buck, like just an insane deer. And he shot it, and he texted me right away. I'm like, Owen, I want to be there for the recovery. He's like, yep, we'll wait for you. So drove 3 hours down. Him and everybody else waited for me to get down there. It's like, man, this is what it's about, like right here. And that says a lot about who Owen is as a human too. I mean, just one of the best guys ever, and he understands that stuff. He's been doing it for so long, and so yeah, that was just a really, really cool memory that I will not soon forget. Just because it was awesome that he was willing to wait to go shoot a buck that he had been chasing. I know that he was so eager to go get that thing, but he was willing to wait for me. So that was super cool to be a part of that moment.
Yeah. You know, the other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, and again, I feel like a little bit through this whole thing, we're kind of standing a little bit on our soapbox, you know what I mean? Talk about this. And it's not like we're trying to diss the way it is now.
No, not at all.
It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But the other big thing I think that I noticed too, and I guess has changed drastically from the way it was to the way it is now. You know, before, nobody ever really cared about a number.
Yeah.
You know, we really care about a number now. I feel like, but also with that, I feel like, and again, I'm just going off of my conversations with my grandpa, talking to, you know, sorry if you're listening and you're an old guy, but older guys, you know what I mean? That might be in their 80s or 90s now, you know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, I feel like, and it really kind of came to mind while we were at the Iowa Deer Classic. There was a guy walking down the aisle, and I didn't know who he was, right? And you recognized him.
Yeah.
It was this young guy that shot this absolute cranker of a buck on public ground in Iowa.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, you're like, I got to talk to that guy quick. You're like, hey, man. And you stopped him, and we had a little chat with him.
Yeah.
And it was cool because he was super excited to talk about it. And you know, he was from Michigan.
Yep.
Yeah. He was from Michigan and moved here, and, you know, the learning curve of trying to hunt public ground, and just unbelievable to see all these huge, you know, or see a bunch of deer and then have an opportunity on that huge deer. But it was kind of fun, and it was refreshing because I feel like I always want to be the type of person that I never want to be jealous.
Right.
Or like if you're, you know, coveting.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And I thought that was really cool because, you know, like I had a buddy that came up and talked about shooting a javelina. We were talking about that for the longest time.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I don't ever want to be jealous. And I feel like sometimes in this whole thing, it's all this kind of measuring and, you know, comparing this to this or this to this, or and what am I doing compared to what that person's doing.
Yep.
It shouldn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
We should be able to just be happy for each other.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like you didn't even know that. You didn't even know that guy. You're like, hey man, love that story.
Yeah.
That's an awesome deer. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
And I mean, I know you're way more on the pulse of when those types of things happen.
Yeah.
I'm just not paying that much attention.
Definitely.
Like when I'm on stuff like that. But I just think that that's important, that we all really are happy for each other. Yeah. Instead of just, I think sometimes it's not like that. I hear that.
Yeah.
You know, that it's not like that.
Yep.
You know?
Without a doubt.
It's just really too bad.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story, I'm starting to realize that I always say that about when we're on the episodes, what the moral of the story is. The moral of the story is, you know, if you have an opportunity to be a Kevin Smith, right?
Yeah.
To be a guy that can help somebody out and be a good example and represent the way this is done the right way.
Yep.
If you have an opportunity to be that, do it.
Yep.
You know, I think sometimes it's important to look forward, but it's also important to look back.
Yeah.
And I think it's not always about the score. It's really about relationships. It's really about the camaraderie. Yeah. It's really about the fact that we all need to just stick together. And I think sticking together means being happy for each other. Yep. Sticking together means, you know, just doing it for the right reasons, you know?
Exactly.
So I think that's the moral of the story.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Let's switch gears.
Real quick.
So we had a pretty funny little lunch today. Yeah. So it's getting to be about that time that, and I know you're just chomping at the bit.
Oh man. I'll say it and I'll say it again.
Do your little dance. There you go. Little shake dance. Hold on a second. Do your little shake dance. What time is it? Time to put out trail cams, baby. Time to start scout for turkeys, baby. We're getting after it right now. We're starting tomorrow. Hey, no use waiting. Might as well get them out.
Can't wait for my monthly trail cam bill to be $140.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. So we're putting out trail cams for turkey season. We're not waiting. We're doing it now.
No, we're doing it now.
Yep. You know, we
Been
talked.
seeing some strutters on the way back and forth from work.
Yep. Saw them the other day. And you know what?
Time to get recon.
We were talking about waiting until after the Wisconsin Open Season Sportsman's Expo. But you know what? Screw that. We're going for it now. Been driving back and forth to work. Been seeing a couple Tommies in a real specific spot. We can't hunt that spot, but that means they're probably going by the other spots.
Yeah, so time to get some recon, some intel.
You know what's funny is we don't have a lot of trail cameras comparatively.
Yeah.
I heard a guy this weekend say he had 27 cell cams. I know there's outfitters that have hundreds.
Yeah.
I have 5. You've stepped up your game. You have 7 now.
Yeah.
So we're going to collab here. We're going to put out 12 cameras on 2 spots. And if a turkey flies off the roost, we're going to get him.
There's a good chance that we'll have it on camera.
Good chance that we're going to know where they are. And we're T-minus like 3 weeks until the youth season.
I know.
And then we're T-minus 3 weeks and a couple of more days until regular season. And then it's on like Donkey Kong. Do some turkey hunting, baby. Oh, I got to get a turkey noise. Where's turkey noise?
Next one. Yep. Nope. Yep.
Whoa! Shoot me some turkeys. Yeah, so it's going to start quick. But it's funny because where this all started, we're getting way too excited. We went to Fleet Farm over lunch. Need to get some batteries. You know, when you got cameras, you got to have batteries. Well, I remembered that I had some from before that still have enough.
Yeah.
Well, you're trying to be price conscious. You're trying to watch out so you don't spend too much. Well, I just go straight for the Duracells.
And that's what I normally do too.
I did the Energizers, and the Energizers didn't do as good as the Duracell, so I went for the Duracells. Well, it said $20 for 20. So I'm like, okay, well, that sucks, but what do you do? So I grabbed my 2 boxes. So then you needed 84 batteries.
Yeah, I needed 84 batteries.
So you're like, okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 80, and you're like, oh, I'll find a 4-pack. So you grab the 4-pack. Well, you're sitting there like adding it up. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm spending $120 on batteries or something. So we're kind of walking. Well, they had a bargain area right in the middle of the aisle there. That's some Energizers. But then, what'd you end up getting?
Power Max Blues.
Power Max Blues.
24 for $10.
$10.99.
$10.99. Heck of a deal.
So you did the hillbilly math, and you're like, well, heck, this is a great deal. And of course, by this time, I'm already planned on heckling you. So I'm like, oh yeah, you ought to get those. I mean, these are $19.99. I mean, you can get, and you're getting 24 at $10.99 rather than 20 at $19.99. I'm like, do the math. I'm like, that's a smoker of a deal. So you're like, yeah, you're probably right. So you walk back over, you put the Duracells back. You know, you've convinced yourself. So I just, at that point, it's like turkey calling. You can call too much. So then I got quiet. I kind of stepped back. I let you chew on it. So we walked over to the registers. So then, you know, get you checking out right away. Well, I go check mine out. I got 2 packs of 20, $19.99 a piece. My bill was $32.06. Which means they were not $19.99.
They were $19.99.
They couldn't have been, but like maybe $14.99.
And I'm ticked.
And then with tax, you know, I'm terrible, but you know, roughly I pay between $15 to $20, not $20 a box. But I didn't say anything right away.
So then there I am paying dang near $12 for 24. They're probably going to last about 4.5 days. Then I'm just going to have to go buy Duracells.
What are they called? Power Blues?
Power Max Blue.
Power Max Blues. Hey, they might be good. You never know.
We'll see what happens.
There's only one way to find out. We're going to find out if these Power Max Blues hold up to the Duracells.
Maybe it'll be a little cheat code.
Hey, maybe. I mean, they had a whole slew of them there.
It's never a good sign when you got them in the middle of the aisle in a big, huge bin.
Yeah.
Typically kind of a red flag.
They're probably outdated.
Yeah.
But who cares?
What do you do?
So we're putting out cell cams. We're getting after it. It's time to start. I don't care if it's only March. They're strutting. Need to start doing a little recon.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Tatum literally just asked me yesterday if the Tacticam subscription was going to be off the card. Not anymore. Going to be back on there again. I did suspend it.
Why don't you throw it back on there?
Just going to put it back on there again. Sorry. Sorry, Tatum.
Yeah, it's going to kind of burn a little bit of a hole in the wallet, but
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll be able to wake up happy in the morning again.
Yeah, that's the other part about this. That's what the happy dance is for, is that you have a real thing. There's a there's a real
Addiction.
Whatever you want to call it, that you get a real dopamine
I just
dump when you get
trail cam pictures.
when you get trail cam pics.
Mm.
I think you literally said that right away. Was I just can't wait to wake up and have notifications.
My girlfriend never texts me at night or anything.
Yeah.
So I just wake up lonely.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it is going to be awesome. That is seriously...
Sorry.
That is seriously the very first thing I do every single morning is check trail cameras. There was one time I didn't, and then Siri
suggested
it. Yeah.
Wow.
So, that's whatever. It's whatever.
But yeah, we've got 4 areas that we're going to put cameras in.
Yeah.
We've got what we call the top field. We have what we call the bottom field.
Yep.
And then what we call the south side of the road and the north side of the road.
Yep.
And between those 4 spots, we think we really only need 10 cameras.
But we're going to figure out.
But we're going to maybe come up with 2 wild card spots,
Yeah.
either on public ground or we're just going to really double time it
Yeah.
on these spots.
I kind of think we double time it because there's turkeys there.
Yeah.
Don't leave turkeys to find turkeys. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
There's 2 things I always say.
Yeah. Yeah. There's 2 things. See, we talked about this a couple episodes ago. There's these punchable moments that you just, when you say things.
Don't leave turkeys to find turkeys. And when they're crappieing, I'm cutting.
When they're crappieing, that's not even a real word. That's not even a thing.
So as you guys know, I have 0 turkey background. And so I always just make up little things that just to kind of like poke at Cole.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
I'll tell you what, I heard a pretty funny one this weekend, actually. We won't say who said it, but if they're listening, they'll know. They were talking about how they see all these turkeys, like, oh, yeah, there's all these turkeys. And they called them a herd of turkeys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Instead of a flock of turkeys, a herd of turkeys.
Yep.
I kind of like that, though, a herd of turkeys. Turkeys, when they're strutting and they're coming in, they're basically like a big game animal.
Yeah.
I don't think you can consider them a flock. They could be considered a herd. If you got in the middle of a big group of strutting toms, they could mow you right over like a herd of turkeys.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
But yeah, I always tell Cole that I always do a cut yelp after I shoot one. Just so that they,
Oh, man.
all the turkeys in the area know that they're just screwing around, and then they come back in, then you double up.
Listen, I will say, though, and on a serious note, we've been, laughing and joking here, but I'm telling you what, scouting for turkeys with cell cams or just regular cameras wasn't even my idea. I ran into a guy at the spring shows that was talking about it. And somehow we got on, cell cams, and he said, "Oh man, dude, I'll tell you what." He goes, I've been using my cell cams in the spring." And right away the light bulb went on. I'm like, "Oh, ding. Snap. Here we go." Right away I was like, I just was freaking out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, right off the bat, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is gonna be awesome."
Game changer.
And so What it's done for me, seriously, is the fact that it's allowed me to not go into spots until the toms are there.
Yep.
Man, I have got to sneeze. Here, this will be funny.
That was pretty funny. I'm gonna sneeze again. Man, this mic smells terrible.
Because you just hacked all
I know I did. I'll wipe that thing off a little bit. No, but I'll tell you what. One of these two spots we're describing is a spot that I used to hunt it early and hunt it and the you kind of like you're wasting a morning, but it's just like, gosh, it's not here yet.
Yeah.
And then this whole cell cam thing, I stay out of there until I get the toms on camera. And as soon as I get the toms on camera, boom.
Ding.
We move in, baby. Yeah. I'm telling you. It's changed the way. I mean, 2 years ago, I had a camera on this river and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put one of these cell cams here. All of a sudden it was just like 4 toms walking by every day. And I'm like, okay, pretty sure we should go there. Oh, we did figure out where we're going to put those other 2. I just remember that.
Yeah.
These 2 over here, over there. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. We might not have enough.
Northward bound.
Yeah. No, but I'm telling you, if you haven't tried it, cell cams for turkey hunting can really open up the possibilities because it just gives you such great intel on where they are when you're not there.
This message is for Zacharin. Come over to the dark side, Zach.
Come on, Zach. Oh, yeah. Yeah, listen to this. Hey, let's just put it on the record. Zacharin was on the podcast months ago.
No, his thing was valid. That he went to delete it, and it happened to be the day that it renewed. So when you go to delete it, you still get the whole month because you already paid for it.
You didn't have to say that part.
I got your back on that part, Zach, because I've done the exact same thing.
Well, that's honestly what happened to me because it was the same thing. I was like, oh, I need to suspend my cameras. And it was like 4 or 5 days after. And I had another 30 days. That's why Tatum was like, when is this coming off of you? And I was like, that was my bad. I completely forgot. She's like, that was another $73. And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. But
it's funny.
But yeah, Zach, he did. It was the day after technicality that he, got.
Could be lying to us.
Yeah, so he had an extra like 3.5 weeks. He's like, well, I might as well just leave him out there when in Rome.
Yeah.
But he said he's taking them down. Well, and that's the difference too. Here's the thing. If you're having cell cams out like we do for turkey hunting is conducive for me, especially because I'm bow hunting.
Yeah.
And so bow hunting turkeys is a sit in one spot and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
And that's why Zach Rinn,
he doesn't really need it.
He's not on board with that because he likes to run and gun.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what a lot of guys do, or reaping them. But yeah, a lot of guys like to run and gun. So this whole idea of knowing where they're walking by, that's not as important to him because he's going to go and get on a high spot, get on a grain bin, get out near where he wants to be, listen to where they are, and then go make a move.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hard to do bow hunting.
Yeah, and the trail cams wouldn't really help you out too much.
So I get why he doesn't, but he still should just, come on, Zach.
Come on, Zach. Come to the dark side.
Hey, come on. Hey, come on over. Hey, come on, buddy. Hey, come on. Just try it. Just come on over here. Just come on. Hey, you know what to do. Come on. Hey, first of all, you know what it is. 2, you know what I said. 3, come on.
But yeah, so I'm really, really excited to get them out. Oh, I'm so excited, dude. Oh, I just can't wait. Because here's the thing too. There's a good chance we might see some bucks still holding, which that'll be kind of a cherry on top.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, very well could. Because they're definitely going to be around.
Yeah, we're still looking. Yeah, I'll be curious to see what Highbrow Johnson's doing.
Now, hold on a second. His name is not Highbrow Johnson. It's Highbrow.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Forgot.
We didn't have a Johnson over there. You had Cedar Johnson.
Yep,
we got enough Johnsons going on.
Yep, you're right. My bad. I forgot.
Don't be calling him Highbrow Johnson. Jeez. It's Johnson everything. What'd you say Johnson to yesterday? Something. It was ridiculous. I think he maybe said like Turkey Johnson or something. It's just like, enough of you and Johnson. Moral of the story is, if you are looking to bow hunt turkeys, cell cams can be a huge tool. Just really gives you a pretty sharp idea of
Where they're at.
where they are and where they're moving through, and you can try to find yourself in between.
Yeah.
And that's what we do with this top field, that bottom field. It's just, where are they kind of moving through there?
Yeah.
And honestly, too, because at that one farm, you either are hunting the top or the bottom. You're not really doing both, so you got to kind of pick. And the other spot, it's a south
Kinda
or
the
north
same
side.
thing.
Same thing. You're picking one or the other.
Yep.
And really, the other spot's the same thing. If you're
Yeah.
picking there, you're on the other side of the river, so you're really committing.
Yeah. If you're there, you're pot committed.
Yeah. So it really, it's become a huge thing.
Yep. It's going to be fun. I'm really excited.
Yep. It's right around the corner now.
Ready to get rid of this mullet.
Oh, man.
I'll probably keep it.
Really? After all this, now you say you're going to keep it?
Well, no. I'll trim it up to a decent length, but I'm not going to let it be, super long.
So, hey, I don't want to, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room. What happens if you don't get one? Are you going to be a man of your word?
It's still going to be a mullet, yes.
No. The deal was, once it was cut into a mullet, you can't cut the party end of it. You got to leave it. You got to let it keep partying. That means
there's a difference between cutting and trimming.
No.
I wasn't a part of
no
this part.
scissors can touch it. You and I both know you have to keep growing the mullet.
Well,
it has to keep growing in glory.
Well, my mom, grandma, Aunt Katie,
Hey,
Mama Joan,
Hey.
Grandma Jean, they might have something to say to that because
Well.
I'm in a family wedding.
well, you know what? You should have thought about that before you made the bet.
No, what I
We
should have
even-
thought of,
we
I
even-
should have known better because I knew that you were going to sabotage me.
No, we even shook on it. And I will go on record saying that I am going to give 110% effort
All right.
to get you in front of
Okay.
a turkey.
Okay. All right. Deal. But I'm just saying that it might have to get trimmed.
No, there's no it might have to. That can't be in the when you say deal. And when I'm going to try to get you one, you can't say
It's still going to be a mullet though.
no.
And it's still going to be growing from
no.
July or
Nope.
June 29th
Nope.
till next spring.
Nope. That's you know what that is? That's one word. Excuse. That's what that is. That's an excuse. Man of his word can't have excuses.
I'm always
That's a saying. I just made that up. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Listen, hey, it's all fine. It's all good in the hood if you just shoot a turkey.
Yeah, I know. Pencil me in for one.
But that's also going to be the trick of you shoot a turkey.
Let's not get into this.
All I keep thinking about is
Let's not get into
when
this.
one comes in, he's going to be coming in. And of course, I'm probably going to have to be running camera. So I'm going to be trying to call him in and kind of help you.
Oh, I'm calling.
Oh, sorry. Okay. You're calling. So eventually, hopefully, one comes in. It's going to straw the way in. And then the adrenaline dump is going to hit you. And you are going to go inside out. And I'm going to be sitting here with the camera. I'm going to be looking over at you. And you're just going to be, you're going to be sweating bullets, dude. And then that's not even the funny part. The funny part is going to be when you finally decide to draw and hopefully he turns just right and faces away, you're going to get drawn. Then you're going to pull up on him. That's going to be the part that you're going to melt on.
I'm going to pull the bow up to draw and I'm going to get the broadhead all caught up in the blind and I'm going to
poke a hole in the
my
blind.
elbow on the back, probably shoot, send it through your blind. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be something bad like that. I just know it.
No.
I hope not. God.
All you have to focus on is the top pin, put it where it needs to be.
I think I need to switch to a single pin. I just decided.
That's what I'm telling you. I think you're going to draw back and you're going to be like,
I just decided I'm switching to a single pin. Oh, that conversation just done it in for me.
oh, I think you can handle it, but
No, you don't.
yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Listen, I don't think that you're using the 3-pin as your 1,000-foot crutch excuse for just getting too worked up.
Yeah, but the does that I missed this year were the first year I've ever missed with a bow.
Now, let's be more specific. Not the doughs, the dough. wasn't the different doughs. Same one 3 times. It's like saying a gun rack. You don't have one gun, let alone enough guns to constitute having a gun rack. That's from the movie Wayne's World, if you didn't know that.
Okay. All right.
I think you just stick with the 3-pin.
Oh. The thing that scared me was Jason Mears talking about when he shot a 3-pin is to a T what I was feeling. Then he switched to a single pin and he was good.
He felt like he couldn't concentrate.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me.
No, I get you. I hear you. I hear you.
No, you don't. All right.
I get it. I mean, the way my brain processes it is I range it and then I go 28 yards. Okay. Second pin. And then I draw back and I shoot the second pin. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It just, single pins.
It's new. It was something new that I've never done before.
Yeah. There's pros and cons of a 3-pin or a single pin or a 5-pin.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
Just
really
like everything.
It's
Just
just
like
a personal
everything.
preference.
You just got to figure out what works for you, and I'm majorly in the process of that. If I don't know why that's so funny.
Oh, it's just funny.
Because I am.
You're not in the process of it.
Yeah, I am. Heck yeah, I am.
Okay. How many times have you shot your bow since last hunting season to process whether you should be in a single pin or a 3-pin?
3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times shooting, like out practicing, or just 3 or 4 shots?
3 or 4 shots.
Okay.
Where was I supposed to do it?
I don't know. Do it in your house. You blank bail it right there. Just do that.
I don't know. I was talking to my dad about that. He's bringing down the target. I told him I'm going to just put it in my living room. And
I'm just razzing you, dude.
And just shoot for my room. But it's like, gosh, I don't want to send an arrow.
Especially when it's not your house.
And especially when there's a neighbor right on the other side of the window.
And there's a busy road.
Yeah.
Knowing your luck. It's like, I'm not going to be able to come to work tomorrow. I'm being charged with manslaughter.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you to put an arrow through something.
I don't need that in my life. But
nobody does.
But they just opened up the archery range, so
did they put a thing that said it was back open again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
So
We'll have to do that. We'll have to do some quick lunch break archery, little bow practice.
10 shots, 20 yards. So yeah, I'm not going past 20 yards. I'm not going past 20 yards until summer. Because I don't think am I going to be shooting a turkey past 20 yards?
No, but sometimes shooting far makes close seem really close.
I just need to focus. Because I know me, I love shooting far, so I'm just going to end up shooting far the entire time and think, I'll be fine at 20.
Here's the thing. If you aim at the doorknob on the barn door, you're going to hit, right near the, doorknob of the barn door. If you aim at the whole barn.
Yeah, that's my issue.
Yeah. You just got to pick a spot and then hold the right pin there and then let her go. Rip City, baby. Just let her rip.
That easy, huh?
No, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, let's just finish it
Yeah,
up.
we
Moral of the story on this whole thing, get out there, put trail cams out.
Start shooting your bow.
Yep. Start shooting your bow. Try not to ask if you need archery advice. I don't know if Nick would be the
DMs
100%.
are open.
If Nick would be 100% the guy to go to, but maybe.
DMs are open, guys.
If you want to have a single pin, 3-pin discussion, he's your guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. Another podcast in the book, Ozonics Killerwinds podcast, episode 45, done. I'm Cole Tanner.
I'm Nick Simon.
Over and out.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe and
Stay classy. Hit that like button,
hit the
smash that like
button.
button.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, comment.
Comment below if you think I'll be able to shoot a turkey. Boom. Done.
Comment below if he should not cut his mullet because he would be breaking his word.
Done.